Trump's leadership, intending to advance the interests and well-being of both nations' citizens. President Bola Tinubu has approved a federal polytechnic in Gwarinpa, one of the largest estates in the nation's capital, Abuja, which is to be named after him. In a letter addressed to the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, and the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, the federal government approved the establishment of Bola Ahmed Tinubu Polytechnic, Gwarinpa, to promote technological, vocational, and entrepreneurial training in line with the national policy on education. The letter signed by the Education Minister requested the FCT Minister to suggest the proposed locations for the temporary and permanent sites in Gwarinpa for the takeoff of the institution, noting that approval will be given based on the reports that will be presented by the technical team from the Federal Ministry of Education and the National Board for Technical Education after inspecting the recommended locations. The federal government has launched the National Health Fellows Program designed to engage young Nigerians in improving public health. Spread across all 774 local government areas, the government invites applications from individuals aged between 25 and 35 with a particular focus on health-related disciplines, social sciences, and information technology. The presidency says individuals would be remunerated and equipped with appropriate tools to drive positive change in the health sector as part of government's strategy to improve the health sector by harnessing the skills and energy of young people who will receive stipends and necessary resources for their work. The Socio-Economic and Accountability Rights Project, SERAP, has given President Bola Tinubu 48 hours to reverse the recent 50% telcos tariff hike. SERAP, in a statement, says failure to do so by the Tinubu administration means they will be charged in court. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, on January 20 had approved the raising of telecoms tariff by 50% in what shareholders believe it was approved in a bid to improve telecom services. A while ago, President Bola Tinubu joined a meeting with River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the leaders of Ogoniland at the presidential villa in Abuja. Also present at the meeting is the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, Minister of Environment for State, Balarabe, Minister of Information and National Orientation, Idris Muhammad, Minister of Regional Development, Abubakar Momo, and the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu. Although the agenda of the meeting is not made public, it may not be unconnected to the Ogoni cleanup and the resumption of oil exploration in Ogoniland. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edo, and his counterparts in budgets, Abubakar Bagudu, have been summoned by the National Assembly over paltry allocation to the solid mineral sector in the 2025 budget. Their summons to appear before the Joint Committee, Senate and House of Representatives was to give further clarification on concerns about inadequate funding of the solid mineral sector considered to be critical to diversification of the nation's economy. The Joint Committee says that the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, Taminu Yakubu, should also appear before it. At a national conference in Kano regarding the position of northern women on the proposed tax reform bills by President Bola Tinubu, experts say there are many lapses to address despite some modifications to the bill. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrain was there for us and now reports.
Organized by the Women's Wing of the Coalition of Northern Groups, this national conference is to deliberate on how women are affected by the controversial tax reform bill in Nigeria. Women from the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory argued that the bills do not in any way represent their aspiration in the region.
Well, my expectations are high, and like I said, I asked them. Most of them do not really know much about the tax reform bill. But to the glory of God Almighty, they are now aware that issues concerning the tax reform bill is very important that their voices are heard. So I believe that after this program, I'm going to get feedbacks, positive feedbacks from them. Their contributions is going to help when I tender my reports.
Although several modifications have been made to erase doubts in the minds of some Nigerians regarding the provisions of the bills, these people argued that the need for lawmakers to ensure transparency is crucial. At the end of this conference, expert believes that women will be fully mobilized to further understand the role they are expected to play in ensuring that the bill does not affect the overall well-being of Nigerians.
Nigerians are not enjoying. People are suffering. Over 90% of Nigerians are suffering with the current policies, ill policies that are designed by this administration. Unpopular policies, inhuman policies, ungodly policies that are only meant to make Nigerians to suffer. This is the situation we are. Actually, we went to Flato last week. We interact with the market women and so many other women groups. But unfortunately, they were saying it very clearly. They never knew what the tax reform bill is all about. Nobody even taught them what is the tax reform bill. They never knew anything about it. And they were convinced beyond any doubt that there is consolidation of levies. That's why I said there is difference between tax and levies. Nobody should deceive you by telling you there is consolidation of taxes. Levy is clearly different, and levy is what stopped market women in Nigeria.
Those in attendance include the chairman of the Council of Ulama, Sheikh Ibrahim Khalil, leader of the Coalition of Northern Groups, Nastura Asher, among other notable Nigerians. From Kano, Idris Jibrin reporting for Global Television News.
Oh, thank you, Idris. The Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative has endorsed the 2024 tax reform bill currently being debated at the National Assembly. NATI, in the memo in its position, signed by its Executive Secretary Orji Ogbonnaya Orji, and addressed to the leadership of the National Assembly and the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, which is leading the reform process, identified areas needed to improve the policy gaps in the bill. Orji, who noted that the bill has the potential to modernize Nigeria's tax system, streamline and broaden its administration and tax base to align with global best practices, emphasized that the agency's observations followed a detailed review of the draft legislation, which showed extensive research and consultation to produce the innovative provisions that are being deliberated upon. Let's turn to Nigeria's southwest now, where Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji has congratulated Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Kayamo on his 55th birthday. Oyebanji described Kayamo as one of the most distinguished legal minds in the country, noting that the minister had carved a niche for himself as a result-oriented public servant. And also security. The police command in Akwa Ibom has commenced sensitization campaign to ensure public compliance with the directive on vehicle owners to obtain third-party insurance. Commissioner of Police in Akwa Ibom State, Baba Zare, said in Uyo, the state capital, that the campaign would deepen public understanding and acceptance of the policy. He noted that the police in the state is fully ready to enforce the directive of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, noting that the third-party insurance is a compulsory legal requirement for all vehicle owners to operate their vehicles on public roads. All arrangements have been concluded to air 320 school lessons in 10 subjects on Lagos television and social media handles. The lessons to be aired under the Eco Learner Support Program of Lagos State Government are for preparations for West African Senior School Examination Council and National Examination Council. The project Director and Chief Executive Officer of Global Education Media, Durotimi Adeboye, the consultant to Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education on the program, gave the assurance in an interview in Lagos State. This is Global Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle coming to you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. When the rest of the news returns shortly, Corporate Affairs Commission registers 100,000 point-of-sale operators. We have those stories as well as foreign and sports for you. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us, everyone. Let's begin the second part of the news with business. World Bank Group has announced the 30-month debarment of two Nigerian companies alongside their managing director and chief executive officer, Noma Didam, for fraudulent, collusive and corrupt practices linked to the National Security Safety Net project in Nigeria. The World Bank disclosed that the project aimed to provide targeted financial assistance to poor and vulnerable households was compromised due to several unethical practices during a 2018 procurement and subsequent contract process. The bank says the Viva Atlantic Limited, Technology House Limited, and Didam MIPS presented a conflict of interest in their bids and assessed confidential tender information from public officials. The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, has opposed the proposed increase in the value-added tax rate as outlined in the federal government's tax reform bills, warning that the move could worsen the economic hardship faced by Nigerians. The federal government had proposed a phased VAT hike from the current 7.5% to 10%, 12.5%, and ultimately 15%, a move the Congress described as ill-timed and detrimental to the welfare of citizens already grappling with inflation, unemployment, and the soaring costs of living. The Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, Hussaini Magaji, has disclosed that 100,000 point-of-sale POS operators have officially registered their businesses with the Commission under its POS formalization project. According to the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, there are over 1.9 million POS terminals deployed by merchants and individuals across Nigeria. Speaking at the in-house enforcement and compliance training for state officers, the Registrar General stated that the current number of registrations is a significant shortfall compared to the 250,000 registrations that were expected from the initiative. The Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PBEC, is set to establish commercial courts and sub-national councils as part of efforts to improve the country's business climate. The project manager of the council secretariat, Aimeya Okbebulu, disclosed these initiatives in a statement highlighting its 2025 Outlook document. The Council noted that the establishment of a nationwide presence is central to its 2025 work plan to drive the ease of doing business, chiefly through subnational reforms and commercial courts for easier business arbitration. The digital token known as Dollar Trump, which launched on Friday, has seen its price jump from less than $10 on Saturday to a peak of $74.59 before adjusting slightly on Monday. Reports say the surge of Dollar Trump's value came just ahead of Donald Trump's return to the White House. The token's rise drew attention, with trading volume hitting billions of dollars as at 13:45 GMT, the coin was trading at $46.93, giving it a market cap of $9.4 billion. Despite suggestions, U.S. President Donald Trump's return would overshadow the World Economic Forum that began on the same day as his inauguration in Washington, the forum's president, Borge Brende, says the president has brought fresh interest in the annual gathering of business and political leaders. In the meantime, U.S. President Donald Trump has vowed to seize the Panama Canal, imploring that Russia is to make a deal on Ukraine. In only his first hours back as president, Trump also moved to withdraw the United States from the Paris Climate Accord and the World Health Organization, halted Cuba's delisting from a state's sponsors of terrorism blacklist, and symbolically but provocatively announced he is rechristening the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. In the same vein, the World Health Organization has expressed regret over the announcement that the United States intends to withdraw from the organization. The global health body urged the U.S. to reconsider the decision, emphasizing its crucial role in protecting global health, including that of Americans. The organization highlighted its work in addressing the root causes of diseases, strengthening health systems, and responding to health emergencies, often in challenging environments where others cannot operate. Meanwhile, American politician, diplomat, attorney Marco Rubio has been sworn in as the United States Secretary of State. The swearing-in was conducted by the Vice President James Vance. In his new role, Rubio is expected to play a pivotal part in shaping U.S. foreign policy, particularly concerning relations with China and Latin America. A U.S. Geological Survey says a 6.0 magnitude earthquake has hit Taiwan, injuring 27 people and triggering landslides. Local authorities in the capital, Taipei, felt tremors for nearly a minute as the shallow quake struck shortly after midnight. Firefighters rescued 3 people, including a child who were trapped in a collapsed house in nearby Shaanxi district. Now time to take you to sport, where former Chelsea star John Obi Mikel has landed in Istanbul for discussions with Nigerian forward Victor Osimhen, who continues to attract intense transfer interest. The Galatasaray striker, currently on loan from Napoli, has been linked with Manchester United, Arsenal and Chelsea ahead of the January transfer deadline. Mikel, who remains a passionate advocate for Chelsea, has been vocal about his desire to see Osimhen wear the Blues jersey, as Arsenal are actively exploring ways to secure the 26-year-old's services after Manchester United's £59 million bid was rejected. In a different development now, Manchester City has announced they had completed the signing of teenage defender Victor Reis from Brazilian club Palmeiras for a reported fee of £29.6 million, equivalent of $36.2 million. The 19-year-old Brazilian youth international has signed a 4.5-year deal with the Premier League champions. He expressed his excitement to join Manchester City, one of the biggest clubs in the world. He said working with Pep Guardiola is something every young player wants to do, noting that he knows Guardiola can help him develop into the best player he can be. That sounds magnificent. A Real Madrid striker Kylian Mbappe says a shift in mentality helped him improve his situation in the Spanish capital after initially struggling following his dream move from Paris Saint-Germain PSG. The French superstar endured inconsistent form during his first months at Madrid after joining last summer, but in recent weeks he has returned to his devastating best. Mbappe missed penalties against Liverpool and Athletic Bilbao towards the end of 2024 and admitted at the time he had what he calls hit rock bottom. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself up and try again, they say. That's a full circle on the news here on Global Television. Thank you everyone for watching. We'd love to remind you that we are on DSTV, channel 365, start times 276, and free to air on Night Consult. We invite all of our viewers across the world to follow and engage with us using @Global TVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Muya Mufwegbe. We appreciate you watching. We'll see you again.